As Winston Churchill once said, the inherent vice of capitalism is the unequal sharing of blessings, and the inherent virtue of socialism is the equal sharing of miseries. Today we will explore the topic of capitalism versus communism and why capitalism is ultimately the superior economic system. As someone who takes an interest in economics and has done extensive research on the topic, I can confidently say that capitalism is a better economic system than communism. Today we'll discuss the fact that communism as a whole fails almost every time it is attempted and why communism fails, and we will also discuss why capitalism is the solution for a communist country that is failing. So, the problem we face today is the failure of the communist system as a whole. So today there's only 5 countries that are actually considered communist. However, there have been 47 communist regimes in the past, and they have all fallen, and most of the time it was in a catastrophic way, according to InfoPlease. When governments fail, they leave behind a power void. And when you leave behind a power void, someone is going to fill that void in the power. Someone's going to take over that authority. So most of the time, the people that are willing to take over the power in a violent way do not have the greatest intentions to do good with that power. So another example of the failure of communism is the horrible conditions that people live during the communist regime. So not only are the governments failing, but they are failing their people during their rule. An example of this is in 1958, as part of Mao Zedong's Great Leap Forward, Mao created the People's Communes in an effort to increase grain yields to bring industry to the countryside. In turn, each leader made an effort to try to increase their yields to look better to the dictator. But in order to do that, they had to kind of fudge their numbers a little bit. So they were saying they were making more grain than they actually were, which means that they were giving more grain to the dictators for the People's Communes, which left no more grain for the people that were actually harvesting the grain. So that created a widespread famine in which New York Times says almost 50 million people died as a direct result of Mao Zedong's communist policies. So at this point, with all of that evidence, it's evident that communism is a problem, but we just need to figure out why it's a problem. So the main reason communism will never work, I think, is because it kind of rejects human nature. So humans are naturally competitive, and that's what we started off as. So when there's no reward for competition, work ethic will plummet. The National Institute of Health says that competition directly affects how much effort people are willing to give for something. So competition is actually the fuel that keeps our economy going. Apple and Microsoft always competing, trying to make the better phone, the better computer, the better chip. That's what keeps prices low and innovation high. Another reason communism is a problem is because of the poverty that it causes. According to the Borgen Project, the poverty in this former Soviet Union was prominent in the working population. So one of the most recent examples of communism failing was the USSR, the Soviet Union. And during that time, when it was supposedly a communist paradise, a lot of the working class people were below the poverty line, which was ultimately why it failed, because the people revolted because they were sick of being in poverty. So how do we solve this problem that communism brings? The main way to solve the problem is to just be capitalist, and that seems a lot simpler saying than it is to do, but it's true. According to the Yippin Institute, capitalism is the greatest economic system because it has numerous benefits and creates multiple opportunities for individuals in society. Some of these benefits include producing wealth and innovation, improving the lives of individuals, and giving power to the people. Another reason that capitalism is a solution to communism is that capitalism also encourages innovation. Almost all great inventions have come from capitalist countries because of the inherent competition that is derived from capitalist ideas. In communism, you're told what to do instead of you figuring out for yourself what you want to do, and so there's no innovation in communist countries. So as you can see at this point from all the evidence that I've said above, capitalism is a better economic system than communism. So the problem that we face today is communism, and the solution is capitalism. So the next time you think communism might be a good idea, remember the 50 million people in China who died under communism, and think about what they would think if you said communism was better than capitalism.